Hey guys, this is Gamercal. Welcome back to Touhou the Genius Suffers. Last time we beat up Tenshi, who totally said she was the maker of this instant, and she turned out not to be because Tenshi's a jerk and basically just wanted to have some of the fun. So this time, we're going to be preparing for the Forest of Magic 2 by gathering some of the formations that we weren't able to get before. Now, a fair few of these you'll be able to get much earlier than this, and some of them we can only get now because of laziness, and I actually do need to do a fair bit of groundwork for some of them here. But the portraits I have on the right hand side are most of the characters that we should be dealing with today in terms of the conditions for gathering these particular formations. So I actually have just Lone Aya out here because the first one I need to work towards is going to come from Aya. But if there's been a reason why we haven't gone back to the Hakurei Shrine for a while, and that is because some of the formations we can get are actually from healing here. So we have Reimu over level 34 at this point, so she has her own formation to deal with. So it increases resistance, which is quite good against heavy status setups, I guess. So we have the Neo Hakurei type, which is cool. And then, if I remember rightly, yep, Marisa has now killed more than 300 yokai, or at least has been in the party when... I think it's Marisa has to kill 300 yokai or more herself. And when she does that, which is not overly hard because she's very good at killing stuff, you get a formation from her as well, which is one of my favourite formations to go with actually for one or two bosses. So we have Final Burst, which is good, and then Alice herself has got one. From the wiki, you were supposed to be able to get this the last time we did formation gathering, like after Eientei, but I couldn't for some reason, so I guess we can get it now, that's fine. So Alice has a gigantic defensive formation, which I honestly absolutely despise, but yeah, offensive defense is there, and I think, yep, that is it for just now. So we will get another 2 from here this part, but for now that is all we can do. So yeah, you can see Solo Aya is what I have in the party at the moment, but for a good reason, we'll see that later. So of course they're all 5-person formations, so let's take a look at them now. We have the Neo Hakurei type, which is a pretty good formation actually. It's not bad at all. The middle character I think gets targeted more often, as it says their effective decoy in the center. It's like the regular Hakurei formation that way, but you can increase your resistance for everyone and a post defense, so half damage after the fastest character has moved. So that's good if you have a good quick character in the middle. I don't know how area healing works in this one. I think it only... I'd have to take a look and see. It might not heal very well looking at that sort of formation there, so that could be a bit sucky. Like here the AoE would target the back 4 as you can see, but in this sort of formation everybody looks a bit too spread out. So that's probably why I don't use this one too often, but it's there and it's still a good formation, so use it if you are struggling with resistance. Too many status effects and all that. Final Burst, Marisa's formation, is a very cool formation here. AoE healing does work in this formation. If you target number 2 or 3 in the positions here, then you can heal everybody. So that is good. But the thing that you need to be a little bit careful of here is the defense down. So you need solid physical defenses for this formation. The further back you are in the cone, the higher your magic gain is, but I think also the lower your defense gets. Might be the opposite way around on that one, I would need to take a look, but the back character does not get targeted much at all, making this a pretty good formation for somebody like Marisa or Patchy, to sit in the back and just spam a whole bunch of magic. And since everybody's magic power goes up, this is a strong formation for an elemental setup if you have adequate defenses on the characters, like good resistances to physical elements if you can afford that. Very powerful formation for a couple of bosses, maybe not so much in the main game, but I used it in the post game quite a bit, and it was pretty cool, so I like this formation. Fact of its Marisa's is not any factor for it. And then Alice's offensive defense, I really do not like this formation at all, because it basically destroys your entire speed factor here. Sure, you get more defense and everything, but you lose 90% of your speed and about 95% of your casting, so you won't be able to run away from any fights, pretty much. You might be able to run away from some, but speed definitely plays a factor in running away from battles, and you have no speed in this formation. I don't remember if your evasion goes down as well. That's something I would have to look up. It might do, but yeah, you have no way of avoiding fights with this form, and it might be a little bit better than Neo Hakurei for AoE healing, but it's so bad in terms of everything else that I cannot recommend this formation, although it would probably keep you alive at the very least. Maybe I'll try using it at some point just so we can see, but yeah. So let's go over some of the other conditions for stuff that we have here. So we can get formations from most of the stages, and we've already gotten some from a few of them. We've gotten Eientei's one just by talking to Kaguya again. We picked up the Garden of the Sun's formation by getting Poison Shield, but we haven't gone back to Hakugiroku, and we haven't gone back to Munzuka. We also haven't gone back underground yet because we couldn't fulfill the conditions for that before. So we shall do those in time, but before that, the reason I have Aya out here is that Aya's formation requires you to scan a certain number of enemies. So we shall do that. She has report basically. If you are a higher level than your opponent, you shall basically fill in their Pokédex entry, basically. You get extra information about the enemy, and yeah, that's what you do. So basically, in order to get Aya's formation, you need to do this for 15 different enemies, which is what we are going to do now. So you can kind of see why I haven't done this before now, because it's obnoxious, let's be honest. But if I now go into the Youkai records and look for the Vampire Fawn, by pressing X, you can see that there's more information here. Has not been scanned shows up if you haven't scanned them, but yeah, that's the sort of information you get. So you need to do this with 15 different enemies before you can get Aya's formation, which is what we are going to do now. As soon as I change my growth tree stuff around a little bit, because I, the very least, want to have double attacks. Although I have a ton of points on Aya, so I don't need to lower any stats here really. Basically, I just want to have more chances to just kill the fight quickly. So that's what we shall do. So yeah, I'm going to scan a whole bunch of different enemies. These actually do all count as different enemies here, so that's why I'm, kind of going into a place that has stuff like this. But once I have scanned enough enemies, I shall go back and get Aya's formation and tell you what that's like. Of course, because they're just fighting random enemies and stuff here, I do end up getting the item I wanted forever and a half ago, so we get the Damascus Shield. Go figure, this is basically the original version of the shields that we have now, including the Diamond Shield. So it's good for physical, it very occasionally blocks magic, but if you're using Alice with her marionette skills and stuff, it will block pretty much all the time. So yeah, that's why I wanted it back then, but the what was it? The Lorix wristwatch actually worked out quite well for it in the end, so I don't grudge it. It's just typical, of course, that I get it now when I'm just trying to get other stuff. Also, yes, it is possible to get wiped out by these basic enemies when they do spam their attacks and you don't have resistance to them. Let me just check real quick if that actually still counted as me scanning this thing. It did. Okay, so basically you only have to scan and then I could just run. That's good to know because I can get away with that. The death doesn't even matter because I actually do want deaths. As creepy as that sounds, there is a reason for dying a lot of times in this game. They expect you to die quite a lot of times, so yeah, there's some good stuff that will come out of that, trust me. Okay, I think that's enough things for Aya. So whilst I'm down here, let's go ahead and see. Yes, I do have Satori's one available here. So, if you have used Satori's last word at least 10 times, and you then go ahead and talk to Rin, you can go ahead and go ahead with stuff. Because that's what I said. So, yeah, you can get a formation, and you work hard to resolve the instant, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's not really going too well, let's put it that way. Yeah, she's been dragged all over the place, but Orin has a special tactic. Oh man. So yeah, actually this probably will be useful at some point. So we have super happy time with Inferno. Now we haven't got enough here. We actually will get another formation if we use the last word 25 times. That's quite a lot, so we're probably not close to that at the moment. I think we've probably used it about 15 times, so we need to use it a fair bit more. I could farm it out, but just now I'm not going to, because I think, if I remember rightly, I'm going to take a detour for it once I get towards Patchouli stuff, but I think, if I recall correctly, we will have another final formation gathering thing from Remilia later. So yeah, we don't there's not really any point in doing it just now, that's what I'm trying to say. So, yes, we have an Ide, because yeah, typos are amazing. So yeah, once you've scanned 15 enemies, we have a formation from her that increases the speed of every party member. Sonic Stream. Gotta go fast. That's basically Aya's thing in a nutshell. So let's take a look at these two new formations that we have. We have Inferno, which is a defense down is kind of annoying, but it increases your attack power for everyone as well as your fire affinity. So yeah, it's not a huge attack up, but the firepower is actually quite good. And I think the character in front does take the brunt of the damage, like you would probably expect. But yeah, quite a powerful formation. You can heal most of it in one go of AoE healing, I believe. And yeah, it's not a bad formation. It's a little bit difficult to defend with, but if you're if you are in an area that has firepower on the go, you know, that is weak to fire, then go ahead and use this because it is really strong for that. Then you have Aya's formation. Yeah, the strongest against fire. She literally goes anywhere between double speed and 4 times speed for party members depending on where they are, but it halves the evasion and it does a number on your defense as well. So this formation is amazing if you want to run away from battles, but is not the sort of formation that you're going to use for most battles, unfortunately. But if you're just looking to navigate through an area and you don't really care how much you run away from stuff, this formation's great. If you want to make sure you go first against the enemy, this formation is great. Just don't expect to survive a whole bunch of hits with it. That's pretty much the way it goes. So, we have 2 formations left that I am looking for immediately. I mean, we've got more than 2, but we need to do some extra work to get the others. And unfortunately, hopefully you guys aren't taking a shot every time Patchy falls down, because you are going to be very painfulness afterwards. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of suffering if you do that. So, yeah, physical patchouli, but that's not really what we're doing here. We are going to get Patchouli's formation. Now, for those who don't know, Patchouli basically dies a lot, obviously. If she gets hit by physical, she dies. I'm just going to check Remilia whilst I'm here, because I don't know if she does have a new formation right now. Surprise attack! Oh no! Well, these guys don't pose enough of a threat, but yeah, basically Patchouli dies a lot in her own thing, and to get Patchouli's formation, she needs to die 100 times. I'm not even kidding. That didn't get reduced in Weekend either. She literally has to die 100 times in order for her formation to be acquired. Yeah, this is later on. There's we will have to do a 3rd formation gather, but it'll only be a minor one, so it'll be like start of a video sort of thing. Remilia will give me a formation later, as will a couple other character stuff that we can't get until we are a decent bit stronger. So, unfortunately, that's the thing. But yes, we have to kill Patchouli 100 times. Now, the other thing is that some of the formations that 2 of the formations we have access to at the moment also require you to have deaths on you, but those ones are for party wipes. Now, these did get reduced a lot in Weekend, so we actually have access to 1 now, since Aya got herself killed against those infant demons. 10 battle annihilations, which used to be 26 in Lingering Summer Heat, will let you get 1 of the 2 formations, but the other one was if you die. Was it 26 or 25? Might have been 25. I think it's 26 now, 26 party wipes for the 2nd formation. It used to be 101. These guys, the game is hard. Like, don't let me, last stage notwithstanding, don't let my sort of previous experience with this game, like, taint it. This game is hard, and the creators expected you to die a lot. So, yeah, the previous iteration of this game expected you to have 101 party wipes before you could get the 2nd formation. Now, it is, like I said, 26 in this game, but I will basically end up having the 101, I guess, plus, because I don't know how many times Patchouli has died by now. If I had to guess, it would be around about 6 or 7. She hasn't actually died that much, because she hasn't always been active, but basically, what this is going to go down to is I currently have 10 party wipes, and 2 of those were sort of intentional. Like, the Aya one was whatever, and the petrification one in the middle of that Garden of the Sun revisit thing was also pretty much intentional. I could have run from that fight at any point, or I could have dealt with that if I really wanted to, but I didn't. So I guess we've had like 8 proper deaths in this thing so far, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because that number is going to be about 100 more by the time we're done here, or at least 90, probably 100 more. So it's no longer going to be representative of the total number of deaths in the, or wipeouts in the game itself, but just bear in mind that that is a thing, and we shall go from there. I don't actually know what happens if all of your characters run out of lives. That is something I have never had happen, and I'm actually curious to find that out. So we're going to find that out as we go along as well. Essentially, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to have her defend every turn, and she's going to die pretty much straight away. That's what I'm intending here. So basically, we get to do this about 100 times, and then we can get the remaining formations I can get for this particular part. So this is all you're missing. It's not really going to be much. I might actually just like hyperspeed this or something, I don't know. But yeah, just so you know, we are losing lives here as well. I am curious to find out what happens when you have 8 wipeouts. So let's let's see. I could make this even... Oh yeah, damn it, she's got physical deflect because I gave her extra lives up. I could just hit myself. You know, that's a thing too. So I could make this quicker actually by removing her armor. Poor Patchouli. This is just what the game demands if you want her formation. It's not even super good either, it's just, you know, it's there. Wow, they actually only did 40 more damage there. That's sad. Anyway, I shall meet you back when this is done, because this will take a while. Alright, so we're technically on the last life of my first set here, and so I'm kind of curious to find out what actually happens here. Like, because you see, we have completely run out of lives, and I don't know, because we have no lives, so can we actually go into a fight? Oh wow, it just instantly wipes out. I don't know. I don't think that counts towards the towards Patchouli dying, but it does count towards the battle wipeouts. That's interesting. Huh. Yeah, that's cool. I actually didn't know that. So you can chalk that one up as an additional wipe, I guess. That would make it really easy to get to the 26, but of course Patch needs to die 100 times. So yeah, she has 10 lives. That's gonna be the indicator here. So sorry Patch, but you've got to do this another 90 times. Oh well. Never mind. Okay, poor Patchouli, after 90 freaking deaths later here, she must have died more than 6 or 7 then, because yeah, that was 90 right there. And yeah, she can strengthen magic from the middle and back, and that's good. Hyper Library is the formation. Unfortunately, there's a couple of big setbacks with this form, but we shall go into that after we have the remaining formations I can go for. So now let's proceed to Hakurei. Just so you can see, I mean, I guess you might have seen it there, we now have 101 battle annihilations, but 90 of those were obviously generated just now. Well, 91 technically, because of, you know, previous one as well. So I think the total of you know, deaths that are actually deaths in this game so far is maybe 8, I think it is. Anyway, I guess we can't get this one yet, so basically Youmu has to instant kill 30 enemies before she can get a formation for Yuyuko. So we clearly haven't used Youmu enough yet. Guess I might use Youmu in the next stage then. But if she can instant kill enough enemies, then we'll come back and get a formation from Yuyuko. So that just leaves the final 2 formations, one from Murinzuka and one from Brava Agra. So this one you can get just by wiping out 10 times in weekend. If you're playing Lingering Summer Heat, you need 25 or 26, I think it's 25. And yeah, basically she's still slacking. Oh dear. You know, I really wouldn't trust a notebook that was being kept in there. Why would she even keep something in there anyway? Don't answer that, people, but yeah, basically we get a new formation from her, and then we can get one last one from Tenshi, from Brava Agra, because yes, you can go back and speak to Tenshi. Usually they don't have anything neat to say, but if you fulfilled the conditions for the formation stuff, then you will have something from them. So go up, see Tenshi's portal thing there, and she's sitting on the chair, because that's freaking Tenshi for you. It doesn't look like she's sitting really, but you can see the chair behind her and everything, so yeah, welcome indeed. She has been watching the entire time, and she knows that we have died a lot of times. Yeah. That was all intentional, I'm sure you know, but that gracious Tenshi Hinanawi will give us a special formation. And this one, Master of Defense, as it's known, or like translated I guess, yeah, it's supposed to be a really, really awesome formation, and yeah, Reimu's like, I don't need your help, but yeah, pride will be swallowed and it will be accepted, and yeah, that's pretty much that. So, I guess since we can't get Yomu's formation at the moment, these are the final ones that we shall have just now. So let's take a quick look at these formations. So, Hyper Library. It's a bit of a weird formation, but it's really, really good for magic in, you know, the back 3, especially in position 1. Position 1 I think it's the highest boost in the game. I think it's a 40% magic buff you get. That's incredibly strong. Just so much magic power there. Patchouli of course does really well there, as you would expect from her own formation. The catch? The front, as it says, is basically a piece of paper. They get a 75% defense reduction. 75%! Even Alice is going to be taking significant damage at that point. This formation crumbles at the front, and it's very, very hard to circumvent that. 2 very good physical tanks with very strong physical resistances might just about do it. But yeah, this is an exceptionally specialized formation. I have only ever used it once in post-game stuff, and yeah, even then it's quite difficult to use. So we'll see. Hopefully at some point I'll get to show it off, but it's not a formation you can use for most stuff, unfortunately. At least the back character doesn't get targeted too often, because the front characters I think also take like 70+% of the hits for the team as well, so yeah, they're gonna die very quickly and then your formation's gonna fall apart. Komachi's formation, on the other hand, is basically a variant of the Kappa Camouflage, where instead of any evasion buffs, you get I think it's like a 90% resistance to instant death. So if you're in an area where there's a lot of mind flayers or other instant death inflicting enemies, this formation is really good. It can actually help you not have to run Sanai in instant death heavy areas, although you'll probably still want to run Sanai because said areas are likely to have other status like paralysis from the mind flayers. But hey, instant death prevention is good, and there are a couple of areas you could use this for. There's also maybe 1 or 2 boss fights, I think, that might have some instant death characteristics still, and you could use it for that as well, which is cool. Finally, Tenshi's formation, the attack and defense keystone, is... yeah, it's a very strong physical offensive formation, but it halves your speed. So again, you're probably not going to run away from fights during this, but it's a pretty hefty buff that you get. I forget exactly how much it is. I might revisit this at the start of the next part and, you know, like say once I've looked it up and everything. But yeah, a lot of people think, at least a lot of sort of the 1 or 2 types of opinions anyway, people that I've spoken to or seen stuff from this game think this formation is like super amazing. I've never actually liked it that much because I don't like having my speed halved, but I can see how in a very heavily physical like setup, for example Moko, Youmu and Saku are in the same team, I could see how this formation would be good. I just don't think it's for me personally. But at the same time, I think you defend all of the back in one marionette, so maybe it's not too bad. I don't know, I might have to test it out at some point. But yes, those are the formations that we have acquired here. We got 8 formations in this this part, pretty good. However, this has been going on for freaking ever, and even if I do actually go ahead and speed up the stuff that way, all the Patchy deaths and everything, Camtasia caps out at 4 times speed, so unless I was to re-edit the video afterwards, you know, like re-rendering and everything, 4 times is as high as it's gonna go, and I don't know if I'm gonna show it all, but at the same time it might be funny if I do, so post-production Cal is gonna have to think of something that way. But yeah, this has been Gamer Cal playing Touhou, the Genius of Sapphires, and I guess this is basically a part 0.5 then, for formation gathering the Redux. So we have one more set of this to do later when we have done 25 last words with Satori and insta-killed 30 enemies with Youmu. And also once we get the conditions open to get to talk to Remelia for a second time, because that is a thing. So 3 formations left to get in the game that we can't get just now, or at least 2 that we can but don't have the conditions for, and then 1 that we'll get as a natural progression. There may be other formations, but for now those are the ones to shoot for. So this is once again being Gamer Cal playing Touhou, the Genius of Sapphires, and next time we take on the Forest of Magic 2. Take care.